The art of the accidental. The first coincidence happened on a Wednesday. 2 weeks after Isabel had moved into Amina's spare room, Jackson arrived at his office at 7:45 to find Amina in the lobby, talking to Sandra with that particular brand of warmth that made receptionists trust her immediately. She was carrying a leather portfolio and wearing a dress the color of expensive cognac. Amina, Jackson. I'm so sorry to ambush you like this. Jackson, it's fine. Come up. He was cut, distracted, still wounded in the particular quiet way of men who don't perform their wounds. He discussed the stage dimensions in 6 minutes, made 2 corrections to her floor plan, and was about to stand when she said, Amina, how are you doing? Rila? He looked at her. His expression said, Don't. Amina, I know. You don't want to talk about it. The accuracy of it landed somewhere he wasn't prepared for. Jackson, I'm fine. She left without pushing, without lingering. That was smart. She'd done her research on the man. Jackson Mensah did not respond to pressure. He responded to space, competence, and honesty. She'd given him all 3. 3 weeks later, the rooftop bar at Helix, Leo had dragged Jackson out. You're becoming a ghost, brother. Come drink with me. I'll be boring company. You won't even have to talk. Amina was already there when they arrived. Not waiting for them, simply there, at the bar with 2 other women, laughing at something on her phone. Say looked up, looked genuinely surprised, covered it with warmth. Amina, Leo, Jackson. Hi God, what are the odds? She joined them. Not immediately. She came over 20 minutes later, claiming her friends had left early. Leo, who liked Amina because she was funny and direct and had once told him his tie looked like a funeral, made room for her immediately. Jackson drank his scotch and said little and watched her talk and felt, against his will, something he hadn't felt in weeks, slightly less terrible. 6 weeks later, his house. She had come to return some of Isabel's things. Books, a few pieces of jewelry that Isabel claimed she needed. Jackson opened the door and looked at the box and then at Amina, and felt something complicated that he could unname. Amina, I won't come in. He took the box, set it inside the door, then said, Jackson, have you eaten? She said, yes. She kept it light, funny stories about difficult clients, a disaster of a corporate event in March, a wedding whose mother of the bride had arrived in the same dress as the bride. She made him laugh twice. Both times she watched the laugh reach his eyes and then recede, like something that felt guilty about showing up. She left at 9:30. She did not make a move. She was too intelligent for that. She came back the following Friday, and the Friday after that, and then one evening in September, 3 months after, Isabel had walked into that guest room and cried herself to sleep. Jackson looked at Amina across the kitchen counter and felt the weight of loneliness and grief, and the particular madness of a man who has been loved badly for too long. And she looked back at him with everything she had been practicing for years, and nothing was said and everything was decided. He kissed her first. She let him believe that. Chapter 10. What love actually looks like. He did not fall in love with Amina. He was honest enough with himself to know that. What he fell into was the shape of company, the relief of not being alone, the comfort of a person who seemed, at every turn, to be what he needed. She was good at that, Being needed, she had studied the subject with academic rigor for 6 years. But love requires a loss of control that Jackson Mensah refused to offer. And Amina, who had imagined this so many times, who had written the next chapter so many times in the dark, couldn't understand why the man in the fantasy was easier to love than the man in her actual presence. Jackson was not unkind, but he was careful. He kept her at a precise distance, present but unreachable. And she spent 3 months trying to close the gap before she understood that he was not going to let her in. Not fully. He was using her in the gentle, clinical way of men in pain. Warmth without risk, intimacy without vulnerability. And then she heard about the others. Her contact, a mutual friend from their circle, mentioned it casually over coffee. That Jackson had been seen at dinner with a woman and at a gallery opening with another. Nothing serious, apparently. Just a man moving through his grief sideways. Amina set her coffee cup down. Other women. Of course. Because I am not enough. Because even after everything I did, everything I sacrificed, everything I endured, I am still in the waiting room. I am still not the one he comes home to. I am still second. Again. Always second. How is this possible? How is this my life? Jackson's home. A Thursday evening. She arrived unannounced. He opened the door with his jacket still on, clearly just in, and something flickered in his face when he saw her that she recognized. Not quite pleasure, not quite irritation, the response of a man to a complication. Amina, who is she? He leaned against the doorframe. His face was its usual composed mask, which she hated right now more than anything. Jackson, I never made you a promise. Amina, not ready or not ready with me. The silence said everything. Amina, I love you. Jackson, I know that, and I value that. Which is exactly why I'm going to be honest with you now, instead of letting this continue. Amina, don't you dare end this. Jackson, I'm not ending a relationship. We never. Jackson, I need you to go home. Amina, I am not Isabel. I am not someone you can throw out when you're done. The comparison was a mistake. She knew it the moment it left her mouth. His face went still in a way that was worse than anger. Jackson, good night, Amina. He closed the door. The following week, a phone call. Isabel called her on a Thursday. She'd heard through Nagari, who'd heard through Priscilla, who'd heard through some invisible wire that always seemed to carry information like electricity, that Amina had been seen leaving Jackson's building multiple times, over multiple months. Isabel, tell me it's not true. Amina said nothing. Her silence was its own confession. Isabel, you, my best friend, while I was sleeping in your guest room, while I was crying. Amina, I cried in front of you. I told you I still loved him, and you were. Amina, you cheated on him. Isabel, you are a snake. Amina, and you took everything I ever wanted and didn't even appreciate it. We've been done for a long time. You just didn't know. Isabel Hungo. Amina sat in her car in a car park for 22 minutes. Then she drove home, made tea, and told herself she didn't regret anything. She was lying, but she was good at that.